What's up, y'all? Aggie Out Loud. This is my second video for the day. As you can see from the cover, this one is going to be on the SS Ourang Mudan mystery. So let's just delve right into it, because this case has not a lot of information on it. So we're just going to go with what we got. And what I got is basically what a lot of other people have as well. And that'll explain a lot once I get through the story. So let's just delve right into it. In June of 1947, multiple ships traveling trade routes in the Strait of Malacca off the coast of Malaysia received a terrifying SOS message that read, "All officers, including captain, are dead, lying in chart room and bridge, possibly whole crew dead." After a short period of time, though, another final short message was received that simply read, "I die." Nearby ships identified the signal as coming from the Dutch freighter, the SS Ourang Mudan. The nearest merchant ship, the Silver Star, traveled as fast as they could to the source of the stress signal, but upon boarding the Ourang Mudan, they were horrified by what they found. Okay, now I've got to turn the page. I'm getting some new equipment soon, people, where I'll be able to show y'all what I'm talking about, and you won't have to just hear me say it. But until then, I got my notes, because I do research a lot, and so I take notes on everything that I do as far as the videos I give y'all and stuff like that. So, every member of the crew were dead, and their corpses were scattered all over the ship's decks. The eyes of the men were still open. All of their eyes were still open, and the expressions on their faces were all of sheer terror. Now remember, all these men are dead. So the crew members off of the Silver Star ship that boarded this Ourang Mudan ship, this is what they witnessed. Was a bunch of dead men, everyone dead, but their eyes were all completely open, all of them, and all of their facial expressions were of complete terror, like sheer terror. The Silver Star's men found the deceased radio operator as well, the man that made the stress call. And when they found him, his hand was still on the Morse sending key and with his eyes wide open. He was dead, once again, but with his eyes wide open and his face in a panic. Strangely, there were no signs of wounds or injuries on any of the bodies. The Silver Star crew decided to tow the ship back to port, but before they could get underway, smoke began emanating from the decks below of the Ourang Mudan's. Decks below started to catch fire. Excuse me. The Silver Star crewmen quickly returned to their ship and barely had time to escape before the SS Ourang Mudan exploded and swiftly sank. And to this day, the exact fate of the SS Ourang Mudan's crew members remain a mystery. So, there you go. Now, the first thing that came to my mind was well, how do we know that the captain or one of the lead members on the crew members on this ship didn't go crazy and kill everybody off, right? Well, that's because there was no bodily injuries of any sort to any of the crew members on this ship. There was nothing. There wasn't like stab wounds. There wasn't anything of that sort found on any of the men on this ship. It was just like they were just all dead. All of their eyes were still completely open, and their faces were all frozen in complete horror. So, Some people say that it could have been the gas bubbles that were coming up from under the ocean that could have overtaken the crew members on the ship. But then think about that. With all the ships that have ever been out at sea in this entire world, in any given century, at any given moment, if that did actually happen, don't you think we would have heard of it happening more often than that? What's the chances of it happening one time and never again? Ever. In history, ever. So I don't believe that's what it was. Now, there are also some people who believe that it could have been aliens. I don't necessarily believe it was aliens. So, but I guess once again we're never going to know because the ship sank and all of its dead crew members went with it. So, I guess we're just never going to know. And that's sad because, these were people's relatives. And it wasn't like this happened in like the 1800s. This was in 1947. So, these crewmen, whether they were good people or bad people, regardless, they were brothers. They had moms, they had dads, they had sisters and possibly brothers and maybe even wives or kids back at home. And now this person that they're related to died this horrible death with no explanation whatsoever of what happened. That alone is just real sad. You know what I'm saying? So that's the story on this one, on the SS Ourang Mudan ship. Let me know your comments below. And if you have any videos that you would like me to do on any type of conspiracy theory that I haven't done already, on any mysteries or unknown experiences, unknown meaning, people still can't find the cause of it type of experiences, please list them below. And if I find them interesting enough, I'll do a video on them. A lot of my videos, I do get into detail and I do get into a lot of depth of what I believe happened. But then there's some cases like this one and the Green Children of Woolpit where there's just not a lot of evidence to take anywhere in your mind to assume it could be anything. There's just not a lot to work with. So if there's not a lot to work with, but I find it quite interesting, I'll do a video on it and I'll bring it to y'all's attention to get y'all's viewpoints on it. But there are quite a few videos I've done where I do believe I have mentioned what I believe to be the cause. Anywho, Aggie Out Loud, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'll be getting some new equipment soon, which will make my videos look very polished. Lighting, everything's going to be perfect. I'll be able to add graphics and you'll be able to see what I'm talking about when I'm talking about it. I love y'all and I'm out. Peace.